Hey, let me know, can y'all hear me? Let me know, can y'all hear me? If not, I'm gonna unplug this mic.
Hey, yo, T-Man.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Let me know, can y'all hear me? I'm about to go ahead and get started. A couple more minutes. Hey, let me know, can y'all hear me? I'm about to go ahead and get started in a minute. Okay. Let me go ahead and get started. I ain't gonna waste you guys' time. Hold on one second. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear me good, because I'm using this microphone. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if the sound good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So this class is basically going to cover property accountability versus responsibility. So what we're gonna do is, so these are the references for this presentation. So reference AR 710-2, which is supply policy below the national level. Then you got AR 710-2-1, which is the centralized inventory management of Army supply system. And then you got AR 735-5, which is going to be property accountability and policies. Then you got DAPAM 710-2-1. using unit supply systems. And of course, you got GCS as Army, EU1 Plus. So all these are good references to use when you're talking about property accountability versus responsibility. So one so accountability versus responsibility. So it's a difference in both of these. So you got different types. So you got basically different types of responsibility. So I would say accountability and responsibility. So accountability is usually it. I would say it was basically for to keep the record. So basically the gains and the losses, the on hand balances, do ins and do outs, and identification. So responsibility would usually is the obligation, the proper use and care of the property and whoever's in custody of the property and who's ever safekeeping the property. So uh more than usually the accountable officer who is basically the I would say property book officer usually maintains the records of uh the property. So that would usually be the accountable officer. So I would say for the responsibility is usually uh has the direct responsibility for all the property. So that's usually the commander, or that's usually the commander who has direct responsibility of the property. So uh right here is the five. You got the five types of responsibilities. You got command, supervisory, personal, direct, and custodial. So these are the five types of responsibilities right here. Responsibility. Command, usually inherent in position as the commander, responsible for all property within the command. Got supervisory, inherent in position as supervisor, responsible for all property in possession of supervised personnel. So, and then the personal person who actually has, who basically the who's always accompanies physical possession of the property, and then the direct person who responsibility is assumed by hand receipt from accountable officer or individual to hold direct responsibility for the property. So the this would be the five types of responsibility as far as accountability versus responsibility. So far as the inventory, so inventory checklist is basically before you do a change of command inventory. This is the inventory checklist. If you guys want to go through it just a little bit, far as the pre-inventory checklist, you want to receive guidance. Of course, you're going to receive guidance from the battalion or brigade commander. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to develop some type of schedule on each day, uh, what day you're going to be conducting the inventory that day. So the incoming commander will brief the sub hand receipt holders of the expectation for the inventory. Basically, when they basically letting them know how they want it to be laid out, what days they're gonna do it, and things like that. So it says right here, cross-reference sub hand receipts with hand receipts provided by property book office. This will ensure all property is sub hand receipted, nothing on the commander's hand receipt. So this is basically going to give you guys, this is basically making sure everything is off the commander's hand receipt. So everything must be sub hand receipted down to the end user, uh making sure there's nothing on the commander's hand receipt. So only thing should be on the commander's hand receipt is the things that's getting lateral transferred or things that's getting turned in. And the things that's getting turned in, you want to make sure they're properly tagged, saying that what's wrong with it, and things and that such. What's wrong with it, what condition code it is. You want to basically have a turn in packet ready for whatever you're getting ready to turn in. So during the inventory checklist. This is really important. You want to make sure you stand on schedule. You want to make sure that the commander is not waiting a long period amount of time. You want to make sure you have all the bombs printed out. Um, you want to make sure that the sub hand receipt holder is there on time. With all the stuff laid out, you don't want to have nobody waiting. So this is when you want to make sure you writing down any discrepancies far as serial numbers. If the incoming commander want to change serial numbers, that's where you take all those notes down and make sure that you get those that type of stuff changed. Anything that come up missing, you want to make sure you verify any shortages against any appropriate adjustment documents. So whether you need to do a flipple, whether you need to do a statement of charges that justifies like why the item is short. So this is basically just a during inventory list, so you guys can go through it. The post inventory checklist, of course, you want to make sure all the adjustment documents are done prior. It's supposed to be 5 days prior to the change command ceremony. So 5 days prior, you want to have all those documents turned in to the PBO. So as you going through the post inventory checklist, so you don't supposed to order any shortages using a reservation. So it's a way you go in G Army and actually order shortages against a work order. So it says sign for unit property from all service and property book offices. So then it says keep in mind that a cyclic annual inventory is required for all organization property from this day forward until your change command. So that's another thing. So you still during the change command, of course, you still gonna have to do sensitive items inventory. You want to turn in unserviceable property for repair or replacement. Turn in all excess property within 10 days in accordance with the disposition instructions. So that's another thing that you guys want to do post inventory checklist. So component management. This is basically explaining the bill of materials, basically saying that you want to always go off the BOM to inventory. The TM or the SCO is basically a reference. So that shouldn't be your primary means of inventory. The TM or the SCO should not be the primary means of inventory. You should always go off the BOM. If there's a discrepancy, you can always submit a help desk ticket to request a correction or clarification. So on here also talk about if components are in GCS Army MM03, create a OSI BOM and issue on commander's hand receipt. So OSI BOM is basically when you go into G Army, basically create a manual BOM if the components are in G Army catalog. Yeah, so I wish I had the website to show you guys on how to find certain lens. If they don't come up with a BOM, it's usually on their website. I have to do another video on that on how to create a BOM by yourself on your own. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what this slide is about, the bill of materials. Right here, it's basically saying the BOM is derived from the authorized source of component data. So this slide right here basically is giving you certain references on where you can find the BOM and submitting shortages against work orders, and they not ordered like the provisional S load. So when you doing shortages, you're not going to do a reservation for them. It says right here, order component shortages against PB01, issue to PB01 with MIGO 261 to close the work order. This method ensures unit supply and sub-hand receipt holders know when a shortage is filled, prevents automatic reordering, and creates a historic record of component losses. So right here, when you issue the shortages to the PB01 with MIGO 261, so once all those shortages come in, that's when you guys gonna close the work order out with MIGO 261 when you issue all of them out, when you issue all those shortages out as they come in. So right here is basically the bomb right here. Okay, so this is showing an actual bomb to where uh you got actually component listing. So this is basically telling you that all these items on here is expendable. So as you can see, it's highlighted right here in red, but in the little red box, that's the ARC code, which means like you get to see well, you get letting you know, is it expendable item, is it a durable item, or is it non-expendable right here. So this is basically going to tell you whether it should be on the property book or not. If it's expendable, it usually does not need to be on the property book. Um, if it's durable, it depends. Sometimes if it's durable, it might be still disposable, or it might doesn't need to be on the property book if it's durable. But if it's non-expendable, it's for sure needs to be on the property book. And you got the classes of supply right here. So under this right here, you see 9 Tango, 9 Golf. These are the classes. So if you see 2, that means it's class 2. You see 9's class 9, and so far. On another video, I'm gonna go over the CIC code, because CIC code is changes. So we're gonna go over that in another video. So right here is basically the new, how it's set up to where you can actually see the pictures on the bomb now. If you just go in G Army and select with registration when you try to find your bombs, and then it'll show you guys the actual pictures on some of them. So right here, so you got first thing you want to do, component inventory process. So you got prepare, where it says generate bomb component hand receipt, and this the T code right here where you prepare that. So then you got layout and inventory. End users complete inventory under supervision of sub hand receipt holder, annotate on hand quantity on the bomb. So that's where you actually go through and annotate that stuff. On here, you want to assign it to the end user, which basically is saying that if the item has shortages, record quantities on a second copy of the bomb commander for commander sub and receipt, and provide to unit supply. So you can do this. Well, you don't have to do this, but you don't want to have you want to make sure you get a copy of whatever the commander is filling out, so that way you can order your shortages and things in that nature. So you want to update supply creates PB01 work order for shortages identified on the commander sub hand receipt. Copy of commander hand receipt does not replenish yet. Okay, so what it's basically saying is the work order for the shortage is identified, and it don't replenish until those shortages get filled. So you say when provides copy of unsigned commander sub hand receipt to commander, include IWBK export showing the work orders. So that's where you want to make sure you provide the commander actually a copy of IWBK showing that those orders been those shortages been ordered. So commander reviews shortages on, I believe I'm saying this wrong. I'm not sure. Uh Commander's hand receipt and supporting documents, validates supporting documents justifying shortages in accordance with 735-5. When all shortages are validated, commander signs issue by accepting responsibility to fill all uh commander's hand receipt shortages. Okay, so this is basically saying that that's when they validate all the shortages. So the flow of property. So the flow of property, as you can see, the commander's property book items basically supposed to be uh referenced by the supposed to be according to MTO, and PBO adds that to the property according to the MTO. So and according to if they just want it on the hand receipt. So that's basically uh what that is, what that's saying right here. Okay, so then it goes down from the commander's property book items to sub hand receipt holder, annex receipt annexes components, squad leader, and down to the end user. I'm trying to see if I'm saying that right. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, so that's far as the flow of property. So for a change command, as you can see the picture to the right, I mean to the picture to you guys is left. That's not how it's supposed to look. Junk it like that. Uh, as you can see to the left, I mean to the right, that's how it's change command supposed to look ahead of time. So ahead of time, that's how it needs to look for every sub hand receipt holder. That's how you want your layouts to look. Okay, so annual inventory. So this is the annual inventory. Say you are required to do inventory 100% of property listed on your primary hand receipt annually. This inventory schedule can be either 100% all property is inventory during a single period as set forth by your PBO, or cyclic. You can do 25% monthly, 10% monthly, 25% quarterly, or 50% semi-annual, so as to add up to 100% each year. The PBO provides a written list of lens to be inventory each period. And so the sensitive items inventory. So sensitive items, weapons and ammunition, control items other than weapons, ammunition inventory. So weapons and ammunition are required to be completed monthly. So and control items other than weapons and ammunition are required to be completed quarterly. So, and this is according to AR 17-2, table 2-2. The tool room inventory. If you guys have a tool room inventory must be inventory annually. One of these inventories may be covered by the cyclic inventory. Inventory all tool sets, kits, outfits in the tool room. Prepare a memorandum to record the results. An inventory list produced by automated system will satisfy this requirement. So that's basically telling you guys the inventory, the required inventory. So I you do have an option on the cyclic inventories. You can do 10% monthly, 25% quarterly, or 50% semi-annually. So these are things you want to look for doing the inventory. So doing OCIE and personal clothing procedures. So it say OCIE as required, but at a minimum within 5 days arrival or prior to departure, within 15 days after field exercise as needed. So after field exercise, you guys want to make sure you're doing inventory on your OCIE, and 5 days of arrival or prior to departure. So really, they supposed to do inventory on the OCIE before clear, or before they 5 days of arrival. So you got your adjustment documents. Adjustment documents. So it says administrative action to be taken for causes of other than fair wear and tear. When DA property becomes lost or damaged by causes of other than fair wear and tear, take administrative action according to this regulation. Regardless of the ARC assigned to the property, this action will determine the facts concerning the incident and the amount of the loss to the government. Assess financial liability if appropriate, and or provide relief from responsibility and accountability. Obtain relief from property's responsibility by the following actions. So you got DD Form 362, which is a statement of charges. You got DD Form 200, which is a flipple. You got memorandum to adjust losses of OCIE due to contamination. So equipment destroyed by direction of medical authority, officer, and enlisted personnel clothing may be replaced because of contamination. So that's when you do a memorandum for to adjust losses of OCIE due to some type of contamination. So you got memorandum to adjust losses of durable hand tools and skulls. Say unit commanders are authorized to adjust durable hand tools and component of skull up to $500 per incident when negligence or misconduct is not suspected. And of course, you got AAR memorandum for regular to adjust non-expendable items. Is usually AAR. Appointing authorities may approve the adjustment following an inquiry when the loss per incident is less than $5,000 and when negligence or misconduct is not suspected. Restriction applies for certain items. So these how you obtain relief from property responsibility. You know, when somebody getting charged or some type of investigation, or when you're doing inventories. This is just going over the bums again. T code CS11 is used to determine whether or not a bomb like component listing is available for a particular major end item. This determination is made by your supply or property book personnel. So then you got the T code for change report. Provides a report that captures all changes to a previously established bomb. The new components added to the previously established bomb provides the authority for adding those shortages to a work order. Property book and unit supply personnel should periodically review this report to ensure that all changes applied are properly managed and or reported to a higher as directed. Analyze all outstanding work orders and component availability. So IW39 allows commanders, S4s, and PBOs to identify what work orders have been created for the purpose of managing component shortages. IWBK provides a list of available components. Furthermore, provides a subtotal for individual work orders and the total dollar value associated with all component shortages. So right here, we went over this already. Non-expendable items, durable items, expendable items. Of course, non-expendable items are items that is not consumed during use and retain their original identity. So these are more than likely end items. Durable items, items that are not consumed during use, but because of their unique characteristics, require hand receipt control for tools coded as durable. Um, Expendable items, or of course, these are items with a unit price of $500 or less and not otherwise classified as durable or non-expendable. Okay. I don't know where my classes of supply slide went. Okay, so this slide right here is basically talking about the flipper process. Who's the approving authority? Of course, you know, if it's over 100K in sensitive items, it's gonna go to general. Below 100K and not SI is gonna go to the brigade commander, and below 5K and not SI is gonna be battalion commander. So, so uh, you got initiation phase. So time constraints. This is preliminary search, gather facts, initiate flipper. So within these 15 days, you guys should do these things within that first 15 days of a flipper. The next 30 days, you're going to appoint the investigation officer, make recommendation, notify individual of he's got to pay or not. Last 30 days, education phase, 30 days, approving, authority review, respondents, notification. So these are the time constraints according to the flipper process and who's the appointing authority of it. So if you guys got any questions about this, I can help you out. Just let me know. I can do another video on this stuff. So this was the last slide of my presentation. It's basically accountability versus responsibility. All types of adjustment documents, the inventory process. You guys got any questions about this? You want me to email you this slide? I can email you this slide. Let me know. Make sure you guys following the podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube. If you got any type of other presentations you want me to do to go a little bit more in depth on some of the stuff I covered today, let me know. This has been another episode of Soldiers Talk the Podcast, and I'll see you guys in formation.